Welcome back to Starloop News, where the shine of stardom meets the shadows they often hide. Today, we peel back the layers of one of rock's most revered icons, Eric Clapton. To the world, he's a guitar god, the blues whisperer, the man they call slow hand. But behind the legend lies a storm of heartbreak, addiction, and a confession so raw, it continues to echo through the years. "I truly hate her," a phrase Clapton once used to describe a woman he spent years obsessing over. But who was she, and what pushed him to such a bitter edge? To understand the depths of this emotion, we have to start at the beginning. Eric Clapton was born in 1945 under complicated circumstances. Raised by his grandparents and told his mother was his sister, his early years were steeped in confusion and emotional distance. Music became his escape or refuge, where he found both identity and power. By the 1960s, Clapton was already a sensation. He jumped from band to band, always in search of something more real, more pure. From the Yardbirds to John Mayall's Bluesbreakers, and then to Cream, his guitar playing wasn't just admired, it was worshipped. Clapton is God became graffiti in London, but while his fingers told stories of magic, his personal life was unraveling. Amid fame and pressure, heroin addiction took hold. His heart, already fragile, was further tested by an all-consuming obsession. Pattie Boyd, a striking model and muse, Pattie was married at the time to none other than George Harrison, Clapton's best friend and fellow rock icon. Yet Clapton fell hard. His emotions poured into his music. The album Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs was a desperate, tortured cry for Pattie's love, written during the darkest days of his addiction. Eventually, Pattie did leave George and stepped into Clapton's chaotic world. But this wasn't the love story fans had hoped for. Their relationship quickly turned toxic. Clapton's intense passion shifted into control and jealousy. Fueled by alcoholism and self-destruction, their marriage became a battleground. Clapton would later admit to violent outbursts, verbal abuse, and infidelity. The very woman he claimed to love became a symbol of everything he couldn't fix within himself. Pattie has since spoken openly in interviews and her memoir, detailing the emotional roller coaster she endured. Clapton's drinking, his volatility, and the emotional torment that left scars far deeper than any public fallout. And then, in a startling moment during an interview, Clapton let out a statement that stunned even those who knew the full story. "I truly hate her." He never clarified what he meant, but those closest to him understood. That hate wasn't about Pattie the person, it was about the dream she represented, the obsession that consumed him, and the pain he could never shake. Despite the wreckage, Clapton moved on. He found sobriety, he remarried, and perhaps most significantly, he reconciled with George Harrison before Harrison's death in 2001. But his feelings toward Pattie remained an open wound. He never publicly walked back that quote, and her shadow seemed to linger in his life and the lyrics, the silences, the ache behind his chords. But Pattie wasn't the only fracture in Clapton's personal and professional world. His time in Cream was also marred by friction, especially with bandmates Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker. Ego clashes and volatile tempers made their tours feel more like war zones than performances. He even quietly resented Jimi Hendrix, who Clapton believed had outshined him in the late 60s. Still, none of those rivalries cut as deep as the one with Pattie. In 1991, Clapton suffered a tragedy that shook the world. His 4-year-old son, Connor, died in a heartbreaking accident. Clapton channeled that grief into "Tears in Heaven," a song that revealed a more vulnerable side of the man. It softened him in the eyes of fans, and perhaps even within himself. He became more introspective, more dedicated to being a present father, and more cautious with his emotions. In recent years, however, Clapton has once again stirred controversy, this time for his outspoken and divisive views on lockdowns, vaccines, and politics during the COVID-19 pandemic. Longtime fans were torn. Some stood by him, others distanced themselves. But if there's one constant in Clapton's life, it's his refusal to fit into anyone's expectations. He's been worshipped, reviled, misunderstood, and idolized. Yet through all the highs and lows, his guitar has always told the truth, channeling pain, passion, rage, and heartbreak in ways words never could. And that one haunting quote, "I truly hate her," remains not just a moment of bitterness, but a window into a tortured soul. A man whose demons have danced beside his genius from the very beginning. Thanks for watching Starloop News, where the truth behind the spotlight always finds a voice. If this story moved you or surprised you, hit that like button, subscribe for more untold tales from music's most complicated legends, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss what's next. The truth behind fame is often louder than the applause. Stay tuned.